I'm the president of the St. Louis City NCAAP, and even though I'm one person, actually it's two of us, because my main man, who's also the president of the St. Louis County NCAAP, he's here, and when we move as one. So John, why don't you stand up? Let's give John a hand. He's accused, so we won't hold that. He's a very good friend. Two, just a couple of quick announcements, and then we get into introductions and get started. One, of course, most of you all have visited the bar. And by the way, if you want to order something to eat from the restaurant, they can take your order back there also. Two, if you haven't had a chance to visit and need to, you go up those steps. The restrooms are right through those doors, those curtains at the top of the steps. And they're very nice restrooms and individual ones, but don't get in there and think you're on an airplane and go relax. You know, they're kind of tight. The other thing is that, how do I start this? The slide, intersection at base. Let's get started with the first slide.
Melanie Marie is what most people call me in the community. I am a Ferguson resident. I am a former Ferguson activist turned organizer who has been working in the community for some time now. I went from being an organizer to Ferguson Human Rights Commission chair. Been on several boards throughout my community as well. I have a background in communications, but I'm also in the cannabis industry. I've been in the industry since about 2017, helping to get the current legislation that we have now with medical marijuana passed, and now Amendment 3. And it's just been a pleasure really to watch this industry grow. I currently have the only Black-owned cannabis resource center in the region. What we do there is we help folks to break down the barriers of entry into this industry by way of teaching you how to cultivate, teaching you how to get your medical cards, teaching you the basis of marijuana being a medicine. We talk science there, we talk research, development, all of that, looking at the lens of marijuana for the community.
So my name is John Payne. I'm originally from Southeast Missouri, from Public Bluff. Moved up here back in 2001 to go to college, and basically never left. Basically the reason I'm most well known in this space is I was the campaign manager for Amendment 2 that legalized medical marijuana back in 2018. And then I was also the campaign manager on Amendment 3 this cycle to legalize the adult. This has always been an issue that I've been very passionate about. When I moved up here to go to Washington University, I immediately got involved in a group called Students for a Sensible Drug Policy that was aimed at ending the very harmful and destructive war on drugs. And so I've been active on trying to reform drug laws in the state ever since. And then, obviously had a very big passion for trying to legalize marijuana here in the state of Missouri. That didn't really look like it was something that was realistic back when I was in college and when I graduated from college in 2005. But then a few years later, a group of folks had come together and forming a group called Show Me Cannabis. And they asked me if I would like to be a part of it and come work with the team. And I said, yes, absolutely. This has always been a dream of mine to get this done in Missouri. Ever since then, this has been a full-time pursuit for me. At the time, it was just something that even people that were supporters would say, well, that's never going to happen in Missouri, good luck, but it's just, that's a pipe dream, it's impossible. And then very quickly came to change that people would then say, oh, when is it going to happen in Missouri? As opposed to, it's never going to happen, then it became an inevitability in most people's minds. So it's been great to see that change and see that progress here in the state. And I'm excited about the opportunities that we have before us and for increasing opportunities and further reform down the road. So thank you very much.
We have some slides, but we don't need them. And two other quick introductions I want to make sure I want to point out is that, Rise McCarthy is the national president of MM4M, Minorities for Medical Marijuana. And when we first got involved in the cannabis, I met her and we worked with her, and they have a Missouri branch, and the person who runs that branch of MM4M is in the room, Brendan England. I thought I saw him earlier. He's
Behind the wall, bro.
Okay. And also, there's a gentleman in here who has been fighting to legalize cannabis in different places in Missouri, and took on the city of Rolla, Missouri, and actually won a council seat. And they did some underhand stuff and got rid of him. He turned around and ran some campaigns and replaced all of them. And he has the only cannabis-related radio show that exists, I know of, in the state and maybe in the country. And I want to make sure I get it Wavy Brown. Waxy Brown.
Appreciate you.
One other quick thing. Anybody in the room that is in the cannabis business in any form or fashion, just raise your hand or stand up. Stand up so we know we got some folks in the business in the room. Yeah. Okay, good. I need them. As an NCAAP, we have a economic equity program, mission, policy, objective. The bottom line is that it has been and will always be the need to ensure that we got folks who are fighting to make sure that black and brown people have just as much opportunity to participate in the economic opportunities in all industries across this country, and especially in emerging industries like the cannabis industry. And that's one of the primary reasons why we wanted to make sure that this event took place today here at Intersection at Bates, because we want to make sure that we do our part to bring the information and put it in front of you that you would need, so that if you're serious about getting in this business, that you have some direction, and you have some support, and you have some people you can rely on. And so it's going to be extremely important that as we go through all this information, you all have to do me just one favor. I'm going to ask just one favor, everybody in the room, that at the end of this, you meet each other, you greet each other, you find out who else is in this room. Because one thing about this particular part of Amendment 3 in the cannabis industry, when we talk about the micro licenses, is that, and it's set up this way on purpose, that you have to do business with each other. You got me? You have to do business with each other. And the opportunities we think are great, and we think the opportunities exist to create the sort of network of micro vendors across this state where you have opportunity to create and grab a share of the market. I'm going to tell you a quick secret. There is no such thing as free market share that's laying around. If there's something that's out there for sale in the industry, 100% of the market is taken by any number of different entities and businesses. Which means that in order for you to get a piece of the market, you're going to have to outperform and gain market share. And you're going to have to do that working together. So I want just one favor, just meet as many different people in this room before this thing is over that you can. Because the amendment, and on purposely forces micro businesses to do business with each other. And you can do that and create a market across this state, and that's my objective, that's what I'm trying to do, that's what this is all about. Is that the next slide? Let's go past that one.
Let's start off talking, actually I might just stand up so I can also see the projector as well. So just to give a quick overview of about the campaign, the amendment itself, before diving into some of the specific provisions about the new licenses. So, 4 years after we legalized medical marijuana back in 2018 through Amendment 2, we came back to put the legalization of adult use marijuana on the ballot. We gathered, this is actually the, exactly 1 year ago, we had our first press conference announcing the kickoff of signature collection for that campaign. Sort of feels to me like it was a decade ago, but it was only 1 year. And we went out and gathered 400,000 signatures in between 1 year ago and May the 8th when the signatures were due. That is what got us on the ballot, and then just a few weeks ago, people voted about 53 to 47% to pass Amendment 3. And if you go to the next slide, you can see the map of where this passed. And a progressive issue like this, it's the maps for these issues that pass look pretty similar to this, but one thing that's pretty different is that unlike with a lot of issues like, say, Medicaid expansion, which passed back in 2020, we did not lose by huge margins in the rural areas. Most of those counties that are kind of in yellow, those are maybe 60-40 against. So we definitely lost in some of these more rural, more conservative parts of the state, but we actually won in a fair number of places that were most people, I think, did not expect us to. So, in the St. Louis metro area, we basically carried every county out there. We even won St. Francis County, down where Farmington is, which I think was pretty impressive. And similarly, over in Kansas City, we won Jackson County by over 60%, and then also the counties surrounding it, Clay, Platte, Ray, Saline. We won all those counties. And we even won Greene County, down where Springfield is, which is a very conservative part of the state. So this is something that had very broad support, but definitely the St. Louis metro area, and in particular St. Louis City and St. Louis County, we had huge margins here, so very proud of that. 73%, I believe, was the total here in the city of St. Louis in favor, so really, really good numbers here. All right. So let's talk about the initiative itself, give kind of a brief overview. I won't be able to touch on every single aspect of it before we dig into the details here, but wanted to hit on a few different things. Obviously this is going to legalize the adult use of marijuana, so people over the age of 21, starting next week, a week from today, December 8th is the effective date, will be able to legally possess, use, and carry with them marijuana as long as they're over 21 years of age, and they'll soon be able to purchase it as well. And so it also allows provisions for automatic expungement of previous non-violent marijuana offenses. Also, home cultivation, we always thought has been an essential part of these. A lot of states don't necessarily allow for that, but we feel like it's a right that people should be able to cultivate some of their own marijuana so they don't necessarily have to depend on the industry. If they want to do it themselves, they're perfectly able to do that. We also have protections for employees, tenants, parents, patients, and those who are on probation or parole, so that they are still able to do what is legal under the amendment and not fear repercussions in those environments. And then we also expand the existing medical cannabis market by creating the new licenses that we're going to talk about in more detail in just a second. All right. A little bit more on the expungement. So this is really pretty groundbreaking because this is, Missouri was the first state to vote, by a vote of the people, to pass automatic expungement. Not only that, but the expungements in most states, you have to pay for them. The person seeking the expungement has to pay for it. Here in Missouri, those fees are going to be paid by the taxes on marijuana. So if you're getting expungements, did have that, and it's no cost to them. This is also a strong foundation to pursue further criminal justice reforms. All right. And then there's also some important protections that prevent the criminal justice system from harming people going forward. So the smell of marijuana will no longer constitute probable cause, so that gets rid of these unreasonable searches and seizures. That's often a pretext that is used to go and search somebody. That's no longer going to be possible. Also, on impaired driving, nothing's really changing about the way that's enforced, but we make sure that just having some THC in your system is not grounds for an arrest. That is not in and of itself demonstrating that you're impaired. Any sort of just having marijuana cannot be the basis of search and seizure. You cannot have a no-knock canvas raid. That is now prohibited. Also, if you're on probation or parole, you are still going to be allowed to use as a patient or a adult use consumer without having to be worried about being remanded to the state. And gun rights are explicitly protected in the constitutional language. So now let's start getting more specifically into the